So we got the review coming for One Battle After Another, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn. I've been a big fan of Paul Thomas Anderson since Boogie Nights and Magnolia. I saw Magnolia in theaters, loved it. Boogie Nights is still my favorite. I just love Boogie Nights. It's such an entertaining movie. There Will Be Blood, The Master, Licorice Pizza, Phantom Thread. I got that on Blu-ray. I love Paul Thomas Anderson. He makes great films, simple but complex films. One Battle After Another is just a different style. It's almost has like a thriller action base to it. It's I actually was really entertained by this. Um, I mean, what can you say? When you like a director's style, when it comes to characters, it just doesn't matter what type of movie he does because the characters are going to work, even if you don't agree with the characters. And that's where a lot of some of the criticisms I've heard of this movie. I feel like a lot of times, and uh, we used to not do this so much, I think, before the internet, where you could go into a movie and not have a preconception of like what you of criticism when it comes to like whether or not a movie was controversial. If a movie was controversial, you just went into it and didn't know about it. But now there's so much going on, so sometimes people come in and they forget that you can watch a movie and not agree with the characters' motives and still walk out of it highly entertained or seen something that you didn't see. It's why we love movies like, like right behind me, like Scarface or like Goodfellas or certain movies where, even like Boogie Nights. I mean, you don't agree with what the business is, but there's an unapologetic execution that Paul Thomas adds to film where you do feel like you're a fly on the wall and you're just observing what's going on in these deeply flawed characters. And like I really like that when it comes to my movies. Like I'm not going in there with my own thoughts. I'm letting someone with a vision do their thing. And with this movie, I was highly entertained by the characters, and I'm they're flawed. All of them are flawed people, and their whole thought process and what they're trying to do. Like I'm not going to talk too much about the plot of the movie. That's kind of not what I do. Uh, I'm more about like if the movie worked or not for me, and this movie really worked for me. I was highly entertained. I liked DiCaprio's character. He was he's just a flawed human being caught up in a world that a lot of times people just, you know, people get caught up in these worlds from a young age. And in his case, it was like a revolutionary group, and you could just see that character is not that there's no glamorizing a character who obviously deep down knows he shouldn't be. Like, these people know they're in over their heads. They know they're making big mistakes. I mean, eventually in the middle of the movie, he's a drug addict. He's a drunk. He's smoking weed. He's obviously, he's messed up, and the consequences of his past come out in the future. So there's no glamorizing a character who's so flawed and messed up. And the Sean Penn character is the flip side coin of that. He works for the military, and he's going through issues. And it's if you look at this movie, it's not political, it's personal. We are people. We are human beings. And regardless of what part of the world we are in, whether it's in a gang or in a politics or in a, in any organization you can think of, there's going to have faults of people. There's going to have bad eggs of people doing things emotionally driven. In this case, for these characters, them being guys, a lot of times it's emotionally driven by their sexual urges, or just faults, that they had from childhood that are brought into their professional lives. And this movie shows that really well, that people, and same thing with Boogie Nights. The same thing with Boogie Nights. When you're watching Boogie Nights, the same thing when you're watching this movie, you can see that their faults stem from childhood into their adult life. And these people are just grasping on the straws of their inner faults in situations that are beyond them. And we're all moving cogs in a way. And a lot of times we're forced in situations and we do things that we know are wrong. But we just, a lot of times the characters can't help it because of the situations that they're already in. They're in deep in these things. They don't know any better. And they're driven by lust, power. And this happens everywhere, in anywhere. And so this movie, like I said, if you can let your political ideology go and not let it prejudge as you're watching it, which I think sometimes is hard for a lot of people, you can find this movie to be extremely funny and entertaining and actually kind of lighthearted. But like I said, if you're letting the outside world of other YouTubers or your ideology get in the way, then you might be, this movie might make you mad, or just, because I've looked up a lot of reviews on it, and some people just, they're just pissed off. They just don't like the direction, and they don't like the subject matter, and I really don't watch movies for that reason. I can watch movies where I completely disagree with the characters, but did they act authentic to their motivations in the movie? And this movie does. They're all authentic. They're all just, going along like they're like just, characters floating down a river and very flawed, and they're just going along in the grand system of things, and it's kind of just eating them all alive, really. And by the end of the movie, I felt for all the characters, especially DiCaprio's daughter. You have to look at DiCaprio's daughter. She is born into this. She's born into this crazy world. She's the most relatable character because all this heat that he had, growing up through what he was doing with the revolutionary group is all put on her now. And that right there shows that a lot of times people are just put into the situations that they're in, and they're just reacting. She's just reacting to how her dad raised her. She's just reacting for the fact that Sean Penn's character is coming for her, and the friends that she has, the time period that she's in. I mean, this movie's based on the time period that we are in. It's very political. The ideology of the left and the right are coming at us in all directions. And there's so many people that are just adapting. And so it's enjoyable to watch. And there's no prejudgment for me. So the movie, to me, just flowed really nice. And I think this one is up there with one of his best. It kind of reminded me of Magnolia. He makes movies about people. And just people in different situations dealing with life. And I enjoy movies like this. I think that I wish there were more movies like this. I would like to see one take place on any ideology of any person, whether it's right or left. It doesn't matter to me. I like to see movies take chances and throw at us certain things that we might not agree with, but it challenges us to think. And like I said, the characters are all really flawed, but I enjoy watching movies with flawed characters. There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis. The guy's like a flawed character, but man, do you not enjoy every second of watching this man's life? I mean, if there's someone that's a victim of its time, there would be the character and There Will Be Blood. It's just a different time period, so it's not as personal as it is now. And nowadays, these type of movies are more personal. But yeah, I didn't agree with none of what the characters were doing. I was judging them the whole time, but that's what makes these type of movies good. You know what I mean? You walk out of it kind of feeling empathy and sympathy, and maybe other things that you go out feeling conflicted a little bit, which I think is okay to come out of a movie sometimes feeling a little conflicted on the movie itself or what the vision the director was trying to. There's plenty of movies where I didn't even agree with what the vision might be, but man, was the movie well made and entertaining. And I have to give a movie like that credit. So, like I said, I like movies that do these type of things, and if they have a vision, and it's a strong vision, then I will let maybe the message won't bother me because the movie itself had a vision. So yeah, like this one, I really was entertained by it. Like it moved fast, it was funny, and like I said, just go into it blind and look at it like a comedy. I mean, it kind of is like a comedy in a lot of sense. It's a fun movie. So yeah, that's my review. I actually will start doing reviews of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies. I'll do another review on this if you guys want. But I want to go back and do a review of Boogie Nights, Magnolia, and maybe one day I'll just do Paul Thomas Anderson, kind of recap of his whole career. So yeah, y'all have a good one.